بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم تقبل منا وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مبرورا واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا مرحوما يا رب العالمين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Inshallah, our session tonight is about الخشوع, which is solemnity. Some of the scholars, they have made so many interpretations for it. They call it solemnity, they call it submissiveness, they call it obedience, compliance, and reverence and stuff like that, you know. So it is al-khushu'. The problem is that because we are not very well educated in the Arabic language, we get confused between wording. That's why we find some people, when they were talking about al-khushu', they mix it up with some other things. So if we want to define khushu', the scholars have defined there's a difference between khushu', khashya, khudu', hayba, ijlal, raghba, waqar. All of these wording, they have definite meaning and different understanding. So al-khashya, depending on the understanding of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran in Surah Fatir, ayah number 28, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah have connected between two things, between al-ulama and al-khashya. That means al-khashya, essentially, it is a fear. But fear combined with knowledge, this is what khashya. If you do not have knowledge, all that I have fear. I fear somebody, but I don't know what he is capable of doing. I fear him, but I don't know what he is capable of doing. So that's fear. In Arabic, we call it khawf. أنا أخاف منك, but I don't know what you're capable of doing. But if I know who you are, and I know your power, and I know your might, and what you may be able to do, and I fear you, this fear is in a higher degree, we call it khashya. So khashya is fear with knowledge. Now, some people, when they were talking, especially our scholars, jazakumullah khair, especially the people who they give Jum'ah speech, they said, as they're talking about khashya, you find them, they go toward khushu'. Khashya, believe it or not, it is totally different than khushu'. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, when He was talking about the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَيَدْعُونَنَا رَغَبًا وَرَهَبًا وَكَانُوا لَنَا خَاشِعِينَ. So when people are talking about khashya, they use this ayah. Those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is complimenting those people that they used to worship Allah and call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala رَغَبًا وَرَهَبًا. رَغَبًا, they are asking Allah, رَغَبًا, رَغَب, الرَّغْبَة. What does al-raghba mean? Al-raghba means that you drive yourself to accomplish something you love and you like. This is raghba. Al-raghba is to go and get something that it is beneficial to you, you think it is good for you, you think it's lustful to you. That's al-raghba. So those
chasing something you like.
come closer. I mean, if you
I got it right. Sorry.
What's that?
Chasing something you like is al-raghba. Chasing something that you like, you want it, you want to go after it, that's raghba.
Yeah, you want it, and you think it is beneficial to you, and it's bring you pleasure and satisfaction. So those people, they were asking Allah, raghaban. Raghaban meaning that they were hoping for the Jannah of Allah. They're hoping to increase the bounty of Allah on them in this dunya, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them Jannah in the hereafter. So they were calling on Allah, يدعوننا رغبا. They want from what we have to increase their bounty. وَرَهَبًا, with fear. الرهبة هنا, it is fear without knowing what it is. I fear you, but I don't know. This is what rahba is. Rahba is, I know you might do to me in terms of punishment, but I don't know what the punishment is. Rahaban, they were afraid of their sinful act. They were afraid of their shortcoming. If they are afraid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not forgive them, they are afraid that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might apply His punishment on them. So they call him Raghaban and Rahaba. This is scholar, they said Al-Khawfu wal-Raja. Raja is to ask, to hope for. Al-Khawf is to fear of. And then the end of the ayah, يدعوننا رغبا ورهبا وكانوا لنا خاشعين. What does خاشعين mean? What does الخشوع mean? خاشعين, خشوع now. الخشوع is here, خاشعين is different than خشية. خشع خضع means he is completely obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وخشعت الأصوات للرحمن فلا تسمع إلا همسا. خشعت, the word down, خضوع, ذلول, you know, you go down, you are humiliating yourself, you're lowering your voice with fear. You go to a library, you don't speak loud, you speak little. Why? Because this is what the khushu' is. Because you don't want to disturb the others. If you do loud, the attendants of the library may take you out because you violated the rule. وَخَشَعَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ. They are not quiet. فَلَا تَسْمَعُ إِلَّا هَمْسًا. You don't hear much of voices except the whispering. So you only whisper. So this is the khushu'. From up, down, khudu'. And that's what the meaning. So al-khashya. We go back to the word where our topic is khashya. Anybody, I hear something? No. So al-khashya. Al-khashya is to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 3, وَلَا تَخْشَوِ النَّاسَ وَخْشَوْنِي. You know? Don't fear people, fear me. Why? Why you don't fear people, you fear Allah? خشوني, khashya. We said khashya is fear with knowledge. Because here, Allah is telling you, do not fear people, fear me. What does that mean? What do you want, Ya Rabb? What I want you to understand is that there is no comparison between the power and the might of Allah with respect to the people. So Allah is capable of everything. Allah is the Almighty, is the most powerful. You see? So this Allah that you're supposed to know, you're not supposed to know what He is capable of doing. The one who found everything, own of everything, capable of everything, this is the one you're supposed to fear, not the people. People are limited, regardless of what they do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran three times in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the phrase. That phrase is وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. That came in Surah Al-An'am, came in Surah Al-Hajj, came in Surah Al-Zumar. Three times in the Quran. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. People, because of their lack of knowledge, they do not give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the proper position. You see, if you understand Allah and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of, then you will have khashya, khawf, khudu', dhulul, khushu' and everything. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a very great ayah, the ayah of Surah Al-Zumar. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ مَطْوِيَّاتٌ بِيَمِينِهِ سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, they do not value Allah properly. They do not understand Allah properly. They don't understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way He should be understood. And do you know who is Allah? He is telling you, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Al-Ard. Al-Ard, the scholars said two things. They said Al-Ard, that's what we are on it. This particular earth. And other scholars said Ard, any Ard. It means all what you see in the galaxy is Ard. It's made out of dirt. It's made out of something, you know. So this is Ard. And all of those, all of what you see are in His fist. قبضته, al-qabda is the fist. We're not supposed to say qabda like this. No. Because the qabda of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are the people of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We claim part of the Aqidah. We claim to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what He claimed for Himself. We give Him what He gave Himself. We describe Him as He described Himself, without any example, without any how, without any definition, ta'wil, or interpretation, and without any negation, without any ta'til. You see, we claim to Him what He claimed to Himself subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had claimed for Him. Some other people, they claim that if we claim those to Allah, that means that we made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a volume. That means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became a shape. No. That's why we add a sentence. We claim to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what He claimed for Himself, كما يليق بجلاله سبحانه وتعالى, as it is suitable for Him. So we say He has hand. We say He has face. But His hand and His face, كما يليق بجلاله. We're not going to say like other people said, His hand is the power, or this is that, or this is that. We are not capable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, أَأَنْتُمْ أَعْلَمُ أَمِ اللَّهِ. Who knows better, you or Allah? Of course Allah. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is He saying about Himself that He has hand, who am I to say His hand means his power or his control. No. He didn't say that. The Prophet did not say that. And if he wanted that to be that, he's capable to say it. So what we do as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we are inshallah all of us, we claim to Allah what He claimed for Himself as it suits Him subhanahu wa ta'ala كما يليق بجلاله سبحانه وتعالى بدون تحريف ولا تعطيل ولا تأويل ولا تمثيل ولا تشبيه. You see, this is our aqidah inshallah. So, when we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا, everything that can be stepped on. Al-ard is what you step on. Anything you could walk on, whether here or in the galaxy. Well, that's what some of the scholars said. Well, ardu jami'an. That's what he said, jami'an. Collectively. I see? And then the proper understanding of that because of what's after it. So every earth, everything you can step on, they are qabdatuhu, it is in his fist. جميعا يوم القيامة. And then والسماوات. Is the sama belong to this earth only, or a sama is belong to all of the galaxy? It belongs to all of the galaxy. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said والسماوات, all of the sky, the samawat, مطويات بيمينه. They are folded, they are all folded in His right, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So can we imagine who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is? Can we give Him the proper scope, the proper understanding, the proper this? We don't. Because whatever we think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a lot more than that. Okay? So, وَلَا تَخْشَوْهُمْ وَخْشَوْنِي, you know, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم, and then the ayah, because there is no comparison. How could you fear somebody with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You cannot. So this is al-khashya. Al-khashya is to fear Allah. Al-khushuع, which we are talking about, al-khushuع is to humble yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-khushuع also comes from knowledge. You know, when you have knowledge, you have khushuع. So you have to have knowledge, number one. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ.
I understand this class is about al-khushu', but I had a question. The fear that we have that comes out of extreme love and respect, like the fear that I have for my mother. I know she can't beat me up, but I'm scared to death of doing something to offend her or disrespect her. How is that fear? Because I'm sure that is that a higher form of fear to have for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is it better to fear Allah because of the harm or the punishment He can bring on us?
Now, the love for your mother, the love for your wife, the love for your husband, the love for your father, this is what they call it. You know, some of the scholars, they use the word haiba. Haiba. What does haiba mean? Haiba means that I have haiba from Brother Rushdie. I have haiba from Abu Zayd and Abu Ismail. What does that mean? I have haiba. Haiba means that I have love with respect. Love with respect. Is there fear in haiba? Yes. So haiba has fear, has love, has respect. But fear of what? The scholars said, the scholar of the language, Al-Imam al-Asbahani, is the one who wrote the book. It's called Sharh Mufradat al-Quran. He is a linguistic in the Arabic language, he read the whole entire Quran and he took the wording of the Quran, and each wording he gave explanation to it as the early Arabs in the desert understand it. So then he made a book, and this book is called Mufradatul Quran, and somebody came and he made explanation to this Mufradatul Quran.
Let's just set the record that he was Persian. He was Persian.
His what?
The guy, the Imam, was Persian. Let's just set the record straight.
Persian?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the people are Persian though. Doesn't matter. Alhamdulillah, but they are Muslim. We don't care where they come from, they are Muslim. So anyway, so Al-Imam Al-Asbahani rahimahullah said about Haiba that it has to have fear with love and respect. But fear of what? Not fear of punishment. It is fear, like for example, I fear my wife. I love her, I respect her, and I have fear. I am afraid to bother her. I am afraid to make her upset. This is the fear. If you love somebody, the last thing that people who love each other, they say, the last thing in the world to do something that to upset you or to bother you or to make you mad at me. So there is no punishment. The punishment here, if she is mad or you're upset or I do something you don't like, I'm fearful of that. This is what they call it, the essence of love or the high degree of love. That you love him, when you love somebody, you want to do something to bring him pleasure and also not to bring him any upsetness or any bother or any madness or anything. You see? So when you love your mom, you are afraid of her. Your mom is not going to shoot you, is not going to punish you, but you are afraid from upsetting her. This is what they call it, haiba. So there's so many meanings in the Arabic for word. What does ijlal mean, for example? What does ijlal mean? Ijlal means you love, you love and you respect and you holify. And that's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't holify anybody. I don't come to my father, I said, I make ijlal for you. I love him, I have haiba from him. But ijlal to Allah. Why? Because you love him, you glorify him, you exalt him. That's why we say Allah Dhul Jalal wal Ikram. Some scholars, they said, yeah, you can make ijlal to somebody, but there's no comparison between him and the ijlal of Allah. So it can be called to somebody that you have ijlal for your father, you have ijlal for your president, you have ijlal for your scholar, you have ijlal for this. That means you have love and respect, and you put him on a high situation. So those are the words. Okay? Any question? Any word that you would like to know about the meaning of it? Please. So.
Well, I don't know the Arabic, but I do know the English translation of it.
I don't hear very well, brother, so forgive me.
This is the last verse of Surah Mudassir. Surah Mudassir.
شو صار؟
The last word from Surah Al-Muddathir.
Huh?
Last ayah
in Surah Al-Muddathir.
Surah Muddathir. No.
Yes.
No.
Could you explain that to us? Because there's some confusion in those words for me, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I cannot recall right now. So can you find whatever you want?
You have that.
Okay. So al-khushu', to have khushu', solemnity, the scholars said al-khushu', it is It is the work of the heart. Al-khushu' is the work of the heart. A person can be khashi', but you cannot see that.
Explanation to that.
The ayah 53, is that what you want? كَلَّا بَلْ لَا يَخَافُونَ الْآخِرَةَ. They don't fear the hereafter. كَلَّا إِنَّهُ تَذْكِرَةٌ. This is only a reminder. Whoever wants to remember, you can remember.
Last verse.
56.
And then وَمَا يَذْكُرُونَ إِلَّا أَنْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. They don't remember except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wish for them. هُوَ أَهْلُ التَّقْوَى وَأَهْلُ الْمَغْفِرَةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is capable of appreciating, the people who have taqwa. And this is difficult ayah, by the way. أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. The scholar said, he is the one who will adopt those people who have taqwa. And he is the one who will give maghfirah. He is capable of maghfirah. He is capable of appreciation to those people who have taqwa. هو أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. Means هو أهل لفعل ذلك. He is capable of doing this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, إن الله لشكور عليم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is thankful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciate the person who does good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do unjust. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَوْمَ تُجْزَى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ لَا ظُلْمَ الْيَوْمِ. In Surah Ghafir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do unjust, And I made a khatira one time about al-dhulm. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not make dhulm, transgression, or make unfairness. It's an important to know. Because the person who does dhulm or transgression, that means he needs something. If I made dhulm to you when I am dealing with you, I cheat you, I took a few bucks extra from you, that's dhulm, right? Why? Because I love to make more money. I love to make more benefit. If I am doing unjust and punishment, I want to beat somebody, I beat him hard. Because it satisfies my ego. That means I need to satisfy my ego. So I either need money, I need respect, I need this, I need that. That's why people in power, they do unjust. Why do they do unjust? Because they are in need of something. They are in need for people to respect them. They are in need for people to fear them. They are in need to take from people their money, their wealth, to get worthy. If you claim any of those things to Allah, that will be kufr. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need anybody, does not need money, does not need anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa al-hayyul qayyum. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do unjust. Because He doesn't need anything. There's nothing we have, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will need. And nobody has anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond any need because He subhanahu wa ta'ala al-hayyul qayyum. Qayyum. He is self-sustained. He doesn't need anything. And if He is, then He wouldn't be Allah. That will be in direct contradiction of the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do unjust. So that's why He is Ahlul Taqwa. He will do the right thing. He will give He is the ultimate just. And Ahlul Maghfirah, and He is the forgiving one. You see? And this is why we make mistake. We make mistake in order for us to repent, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. Because what is the purpose of Al-Ghafur Ar-Rahim if He's not going to forgive? So He's going to forgive because He's Ghafur Rahim. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create black and white, tall and young, big and small, minute and whatever, and all the colors and all this, create what you know, what you don't know, what you see, what you don't see, what goes in the air, what goes in the sea, what goes underground, goes above ground, seen and unseen, jinn and malaika. Why? Because He's a creator. All the creation manifest the name of Allah, that He's Al-Khaliq. All the rizq that we have, all the sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us, why will He give the kuffar? Because He's Raziq to everybody. To kuffar, to Muslimin, to anybody. To animals, to something we know, something we don't know. All of those rizq is to manifest His name subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Raziq. And that's Al-Khaliq. That is Al-Ghafur. That is Al-Rahim. Ahlul Taqwa wa Ahlul Maghfirah. So Al-Khushu', back to the subject, Al-Khushu' is, it's a state of the heart. You know? That's why scholars said people stand in the Salah, two people next to each other, they're standing in the Salah. They said the difference in between them is like the difference between the sky and the earth. This guy is listening to the ayat, he's fearing Allah, he's asking Allah, he is inside of him, his heart is making khushu', solemnity to Allah. The other person is thinking about his office, his girlfriend, his wife, his money, his car, his this, his that. So what's the difference between the sky and the earth? This has khushu', this does not have khushu'. That's why Sayyidina Umar, when he saw somebody in the masjid trying to pray and his hand is like this and he's standing like this, he hit him. Get up. لا تميت علينا ديننا. Raise up your head. This is not the khushu'. And that's why Sayyidina Abdullah Mas'ud, he saw somebody is trying to fake khushu' by his body. So said Abu Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said, you have two kinds of hypocrisy, two kinds of nifaq. Your heart is not making khushu', you know, and you're lying with your act. You're trying to show with your body that your heart has khushu', and neither one. So you have double nifaq. Okay? Al-khushu' is for you really inside. You're talking to Allah. You're thinking of Him, knowing what He is capable of, knowing what He has, ma'rifah. You know, you have to know. Khushu' comes from knowledge. And when you read the ayah comes in your mind, it gives you a full scope. You understand what this means. That's why those people, the high degree, كانوا يدعوننا رغبا ورهبا وكانوا لنا خاشعين, inside their heart. And then when you have khushu', in the salah, you don't turn around. You see people sometimes in the salah, their eyes are right and left. You see them. Why do we forget so many times how many rak'ah we prayed? How many of us sometimes we make sujood al-sahw? Because our mind is not with us. We don't have khushu'. Okay? And those are some of the things that we forget what we recited. We're not thinking about what we recited. And some people is not going to like me with this comment, especially my wife. Like a guy the other day came to me and he said, Ya akhi, in the first rak'ah, and I told you this, in the first rak'ah, you made a mistake. You didn't make ikhfa in your qira'ah. You know ikhfa, ahkam al-tajweed, ikhfa, idhar, iqlab, you know. He said, you didn't make. I said, brother, what was I reading? What was I reciting? I'm not perfect in qira'ah. I know that. Everybody knows that. You want to know? Come to my house and see all the comments I get from my wife. You know? I am not. But what surah was I reading, brother, when I didn't make the ikhfa? You paid attention to the ikhfa, you didn't pay attention to the surah? I'm not giving an excuse, but I'm saying those people who are only devoted that this guy made 4 haraka mad or 6 haraka mad or 2 haraka mad or he made nashaz here and there, please pay attention to the Quran, pay attention to what the Imam is reciting, pay attention to what you are reciting. This is more important. I'm not trying to make it less important that you should read properly. But more important, it is important, but it is more important to understand and to act, to have an action, to have a reaction with what you are reading and what you're reciting. Okay? More than this. تفضل يا دكتور.
Someone who doesn't know Arabic and doesn't understand anything in recitation, how can that person achieve khushu'?
Jazakallah khair. Excellent question. Where are you standing? Between the hands of Allah. Whether you understand what the Imam is saying and what you're not understanding, but this is the word of Allah, is being recited. And you're standing between the hands of Allah. You know that the Prophet ﷺ, even though I don't like to go so much into this, but it is important. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you sneeze in the Salah, don't sneeze ahead of you. Make it to the left of you. You see? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in front of you. So you need to imagine that between your hands of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. If you think about this in the Salah, whether you understand the Quran or not, that should supposed to bring khushu' to your heart. You see? And then, at least you will understand when the Imam said, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Right? You say in your heart, Ya Rabbi ghfirli. Inside of you. Ya Rabbi arhamni. You're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. That's the khushu'. That's the khushu' is to know where you are, who you're praying for, what you're hoping for. I am hoping that this salah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept it from me. That with this salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might grant me Jannah. Because if I come to the masjid, just by coming to the masjid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to build for me a palace, resort in Jannah. And when I leave the masjid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to build me another too, house, palace in Jannah, just for coming to the masjid. Now imagine what God is going to give me when I'm standing between His hand and praying and I'm asking Him. You see? Thinking about all of those things, this will bring you khushu'. What's khushu'? They said all the scholars said, Al-khushu' huwa istihdaru al-qalbi walinihi lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is to bring your heart and to focus that you are between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are praying for Him to accept you, to forgive you, to reward you. Walinihi meaning is to humble yourself for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? And that's why the scholars said, he said, the biggest door to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the biggest door, and you could read Al-Imam Ibn Hajar, Al-Imam Al-Sakhawi, Al-Imam Al-Nawawi, read all of those ai''Immah. They said the biggest door to Jannah is the door of Al-Khudu' wa Tadallul. To humble yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To humble yourself to Allah. You see? And like I made in the khatir the other day, we should. Because I have not accomplished anything. I have not accomplished anything. I should not be proud of anything because everything I have is the gift of Allah. I have a friend of mine. He is a top doctor. Top. As a matter of fact, he is a director He's from Palestine, from Jerusalem. He's the top doctor. He's responsible for 3 hospitals in Europe. So genius. He speaks 4 or 5 languages. From the same mother, from the same womb. You see, his sister, 1 year younger than him, she has the mind and the act of a girl who did not grow more than 3 years old. And him and her, if he is 50, she is 49. You see? Who made you so smart, intelligent, and capable? And who made her that way? Allah. Could have been the other way. It could have been. It could have been the one she is so smart and so educated and so capable, and he could be the one that was corrupted. So, when you're trying to show off, you're trying to show off with what? The more you have, the more thankful you should be. You see? Doesn't matter what you have. This is one time what our Sheikh said. He said, لولا توفيق الله لولا توفيق الله ما كان لي من شيء. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not provide me, then I wouldn't have anything. There's an ayah of the Quran. We go by it so fast we don't stop on. We don't stop on and think of it. The ayah of Surah Al-Isra. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَنَذْهَبَنَّ بِالَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا به لنذهبن بالذي أوحينا به إليك ولو شئنا لنذهبن بالذي أوحينا به إليك ثم لا تجد لك علينا وكيلا. يعني if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm talking to the Prophet. Who's the Prophet? The Prophet is the master of the human race. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if I wanted, I wouldn't give you anything. You wouldn't be nothing. You see? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنْ كَادُوا لَيَفْتِنُونَكَ عَنْ الَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ لِتَفْتَرِيَ عَلَيْنَا غَيْرَهُ وَإِذًا لَاتَّخَذُوكَ خَلِيلًا وَلَوْلَا أَنْ ثَبَّتْنَاكَ لَقَدْ كِدتَّ تَرْكَنُ إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا إِذًا لَأَذَقْنَاكَ ضِعْفَ الْحَيَاةِ وضعف الممات ثم لا تجد لك علينا وكيلا. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet, وَإِن كَادُوا لَيَفْتِنُونَكَ. Maybe they were about, وَإِن كَادُوا لَيَفْتِنُونَكَ. They were about to flip you, to play with your mind, to do this, to do that. For what? لِتَفْتَرِيَ عَلَيْنَا غَيْرَهُ. For you to fabricate something on our behalf. But it's the mercy of Allah. وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ. So the help from Allah. When you steadfast is from Allah. When you come to the masjid is from Allah. When you open the Quran and recite it, it's from Allah. When you cry, when you're reciting the Quran, it's from Allah. When you wake up at night and make 2 rak'ah, qiyamul layl is from Allah. You see, when you stay away from the haram, is the help of Allah. So you need to thank Allah. Al-thabat from Allah. To steadfast is from Allah. Not only to me, to the Prophet, to all mankind. That's why, if a person understands that clearly, why would you be proud? Why would you show off on me? Because you have more money? Well, you didn't make it. You have more knowledge? Allah provided you. Allah helped you. You have more glamour, you have more clout, you have more status, whatever you have. It's the help of Allah on you. You see? So it is not you. It is Allah. So thank Allah and don't show off. So that's why, if I know I'm not capable of anything, and if I know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take from me everything, وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَنَذْهَبَنَّ بِالَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ ثُمَّ لَا تَجْدَ لَكَ عَلَيْنَا نَصِيرًا. We could have taken everything from you. We could have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can. A person can be walking around, a car will hit him and will leave him vegetable for the rest of his life. He wouldn't die, but he will be crippled, capable of doing nothing. So for me to understand, even though I'm not understanding what the Imam is saying, it will be enough for me to bring me khushu'. So khushu'. Now also when I go down for ruku', Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. Now we need to have a session about what does Subhana mean. Subhan, what does it mean, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim? You're glorifying Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has all the goodness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the beautiful names and attributes. Subhana, ta'zim wa taqdeer lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's also, subhan means to negate from him all the things that it is not suitable. So we claim to him all the goodness and all the perfections, and we refrain from him all the bad and the evil and the not suitable thing. This is what Subhanallah means. Subhanallah means two meanings. Is إثبات الكمالات لله وتنزيهه عن النقائص. In Arabic, إثبات الكمالات لله وتنزيهه عن النقائص.
Maybe you'll end up covering it, but my problem, my personal problem, when I fall into
I didn't think you have a problem, Doctor.
well, I do when it comes to khushu',
Oh, you have.
and many other things. but when you say khushu' is an affair of the heart, my main problem is going from one set of thoughts to another set of thoughts, losing the number of rak'ah, things like that. And these are all affairs of the mind. My heart, I believe, is in the right place. My fear, my love, my understanding that where I'm standing, whom I'm standing in front of. But my mind, Shaitan is really messing it up, or I'm messing it up myself. That's the one that I was hoping if I can get control over. Or how.
Now, how could your mind go away? For example, when you are in the ruku', you're refraining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all the evil thing or the bad thing and claiming to Allah all the goodness. Say Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. It's supposed to fill your chest with Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. You're talking to Him. So when you're talking to Him, mind and heart are together. Now you're telling me that you have a mind of your own for your heart, and you have a mind of your own for your mind, for your brain. I'm talking to you, my mind, my heart is with you. You see, I am going into ruku'. I am making ruku' to Allah. I'm hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive me for my sin. I am devoted, I am focused in my mind, and my heart is going along with my mind. Knowledge is coming in the mind. Knowledge is in the mind. I don't memorize knowledge in my heart, in my mind. My heart goes with it. You know, my heart has feeling. The feeling of awe, the feeling of respect, the feeling of love, the feeling of fear in my heart, not in my mind. My mind, I'm thinking. So Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. The Prophet ﷺ goes into the sujood, said Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. What does he say? Sajada lak. He's talking. When you're talking, you are in focus. That's why I said in the khatir the other day, talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if He's ahead of you. Don't talk to Him in sighat al-ghaib, in the third person. Talk to Him in sighat hadir. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ did. Sajada laka. Imagine that there is somebody you're talking to. Sajada laka ya Rabbi. Mukhi wa aqli wa azmi wa asabi. That's what the Prophet said. He said, prostrated to you, sajada laka. Mukhi. My brain, and my nerve system. He used those two words in the Hadith Sahih. So he's talking to Allah directly. سجد لك سجد لك مخي وعظمي, my bone, and my asab, my nerve system. And there's another riwayah said وَلَحْمِي وَدَمِّي. There's another riwayah. Okay? So talk to him. Talk to him, Ya Rab. اغفر لي. اغفر لي, it's not in صيغة الغائب. صيغة حاضر. Like you're talking to somebody. So when you're talking to somebody, you're talking to him with focus, with direction. اللهم اغفر لي, اللهم ارحمني, اللهم عافني, اللهم اعف عني. You see? So those are the things. So, and then when you make dua, remember one time, تفضل يا أخي.
As we're trying to attain khushu, and doing all these things that you're saying, there are distractions. And I know this is a controversial issue in terms of cell phones ringing during the prayers. And some people may have very good khushu, that they can drown out any distractions, whether it's coming from a cell phone or a child is running around. Some people may have a lot of focus in their prayers, but for many of us, we get distracted when we hear a noise, something is going on. To what extent can we prevent those to attain the khushu that we need in our prayers? Are we allowed to do anything about it?
Okay, Jazakallah khair. We are a human being, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has maghfirah. That's why the door of maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so big. Because He knows our shortcoming. He knows our deficiencies. I get distracted by myself, without anybody. Even if I am praying at my home, in my own room, and nobody's around, I get distracted. Why? Because a human being is a combination of emotion, fear, love, desires, and all of it. All of you know it. So we cannot separate ourselves from those desires. We cannot. What we can do is we force ourselves to come into khushu'. Khushu', it is not something automatic. Khushu' is a stage that you need to work hard to bring yourself to. Otherwise, if it is that easy, everybody would have been khasha'. You see? Not everybody khasha'. So we need to work on it, to bring ourselves to khushu'. Now, since I forced myself to come into that state of khushu', I can be distracted by remembering something, by wanting something, by this, by that. And the devil will come to me and reminded me with things I don't want to be reminded of, or things so the devil is working on me to distract me. That's very well known to everybody. And the Prophet ﷺ told us about that devil, that he will come to us in the Salah, and he's trying to whisper with us. What's he trying to do? Trying to break my concentration, to take me out of my khushu'. Now, distraction comes from outside. Like I was in the Salah. I've heard something big, boom. All of you, I think, heard it. Big noise. That's going to distract me, and it's going to distract anybody. Okay? Cell phone. Especially those people, they have those songs and their cell phone or this and that. Or they may have the adhan. Some people in Jum'ah, they have the adhan set up. That will distract me. Another thing will distract me, those beautiful brothers who they bring their children, who they should not bring. The scholar said, you bring children to the masjid, the children who has the ability to be controlled. The children who they are beyond control, they should not be in the masjid. The one who will be running around, stepping over the cell phone, or playing, or they're going. We had the imam one time, and then the kids was running, playing with the microphone, and he pulled the line from the imam microphone, and if the imam did not get distracted, we got distracted. And that's why I said many times, I have the right to have khushu'. The musallin in the masjid have the right to have khushu'. So please do not distract us from our khushu', either by children, or by your cell phone, or by this. Another people, they make coughing. There's unnecessary coughing, there's necessary coughing. Allahu يعافي الجميع. But sometimes people, every now and then, to me, as an imam, I made a mistake. It could be that I made a mistake. Then he took me out of my khushu', back to what I'm doing, to see if I am, we need to be very careful. And the Prophet ﷺ spoke about all of these. So what can we do? There's nothing we can do except we give khatira, we talk to people. After I made the khatira about the children, somebody came to me and he said, brother, you're wrong. I have to bring my children, even if they make disturbance. Why? Because I need to teach them how to come to the masjid. Who told you that? For God's sake, who told you that? The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, "Muru awladakum bis-salah wa hum awladu sab'." The scholars said that means when you order your children with your salah at 7, is when he's going to be idrak, when he's going to be sane. Then you ordered him, and then you teach him, and then you bring him to the masjid. But you tell, and that's what the scholar, read the books, ya akhi. That's why he said, if he is at 4, and he can understand, and he can be controlled, God bless you, bring him. But do not bring him to disturb us. Somebody came to me and he said, Ya akhi, my wife goes to work, and I'm a babysitter for my children. I don't want to come attend the salah. I need to bring my children. No, ya akhi. Stay home with your children. Jazakallah khair. What do you mean stay home? Are you giving me fatwa? I said, yes, I'm giving you fatwa. Because to stay home with your children, it is better than to come and disturb the salah for 50, 60 people. And it's not only for 50, 60 people, for you too. For you too. So stay home. Stay home. We have the right to have khushu' in our salah, ya akhi. The imam has the right to have khushu', to know what he's reciting. Some people said, well, that's what somebody said. I'm sorry to bring it up, but I have a bellyache, with all what people coming to me. Some people said, if you are memorizing Quran correctly, you wouldn't make mistake even if there are bombs at the end of the masjid. Who told you that? Who told you that? Well, people bringing all those ideas, and I think, and I believe, and where are you bringing all this? Do you know that the Prophet ﷺ, one time in the Salah, he made a mistake? The Prophet ﷺ, in the Salah, made a mistake. He finished the Salah. What did he say? Maybe this hadith, it's not very famous, you don't know. But this hadith is authentic. The Prophet ﷺ, who of you does not have a proper wudu? When you do not have a proper wudu, that will affect the imam. Would you believe that? Have you heard of this hadith before? No. When you do not have a proper wudu, that will affect the imam. That means you have to have a proper wudu. So, if you should have a proper wudu, Should you bring your cell phone and make it run and bring your children, make them jump up and down? Ya akhi, wallah al-azim, la. This is not a playground. That's why I suggested to the board long time ago to have one of the sisters, we pay her money, we assign that room on the back, and that sister will sit with those children if you have to, especially in Jum'ah. Wallahi, number one complaint every Jum'ah, and I mean what I said, and I made an oath. Wallahi, the one proper complaint every Jum'ah, people come and they said, Ya akhi, there's nothing we understand from the khutbah. The kids are running back, they're talking back, their parents are sitting halfway asleep, and people are playing with their cell phone, people are playing game, their people are answering their messages. We get distracted. We don't understand what the khutbah is about. We tell those people what we're going to do. That's why I suggested to the board, and I'm still suggesting that. On Jum'ah, hire a lady, we pay her money to take all those children, whether their parents accept or not, put them in the room in the back, all of them. Let us have khushu'. Let us have understanding. You have a problem with that?
Question.
Tfaddal.
I'm really struggling with I have a mind that I got to create a formula for myself. I have to create a system for myself and be able to apply it. When I read the seerah, like for example, Ali radiallahu anhu, he was injured, and it was recommended for his friends to repair the injury on his leg while during the salah, so he doesn't feel the pain. I mean, so he'll be able to tolerate the procedure. That would be the worst time for me, because during salah I'm extremely hypersensitive. I hear much better. I feel much better. I smell a lot more. I mean, my sense of smell. I become extremely hypersensitive during salah. So how do where am I going wrong? Because Ali is going one way, I'm going the opposite direction. He is desensitized to his environment, and I'm hypersensitized. What's going on?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided some people with understanding, with openness to their heart and to their mind. I am not one of them. I'm not talking about anybody else. So, the person you're talking about, Ibn Zubayr, Ibn Zubayr, the one you're talking about, it is not me. Those are one of the special people. And please, we're not talking about something special in our session. There are special people in the Ummah. We're talking about the Ummah. We're not talking about special people. If there are some people, they can be so much deep in their salah and their khushu', and that's the story is about them. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the mainstream people. Somebody comes to me all the time and said, Ya akhi, so and so recite the Quran in one night. Don't talk to me about him. I don't want to say the story is a lie. I don't want to say nothing, because that is going to hurt the feeling of some people who they are devoted to those people. I'm talking about the practical Islam that the Prophet ﷺ has ordered us with. I'm talking about practical Islam, that it is good for any time, for any place on earth till the judgment day. I'm not talking about Islam that is unable to be attained or practiced by anybody. That's not what Allah wants. You see, Islam is practical. Don't wake up all night long reciting Quran and making the whole Quran at night. I'm not going to order that, I'm not going to do that. And Islam does not want that. I have to go to work in the morning, I have to feed my family, I have business to take care of. That's not what Islam is about. So I have pain, I have this, I have that. So those people, they make Salatul Fajr in the wudu of Al-Isha for 40 years, don't talk to me about them, because those are not a human being. A human being will have a cramp, will have bellyache, will have diarrhea, will have gases, will have upset stomach, will get sick, you know. For one salah, I make 3 wudu sometimes. So talk to me about practical Islam. Don't talk to me about Islam that is not practical. Okay? So please. And don't invite people to that Islam. Invite people to the Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Islam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. That's why a scholar took this ayah of Surah Al-Hajj, مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. This deen, there is no hardship in it. Some of the top scholars, like Imam Ibn Abd al-Barr, al-Madhab al-Maliki, you know, Imam, I forgot, Layth ibn Sa'd of Egypt is one of the top Imam of Egypt, Layth ibn Sa'd. They said, they derived to a rule from this ayah. The rule said, anytime you see hardship, it is not Islam. They made the opposite. Anytime you see somebody is ordering you with hardship, violating the practical religion, you know, the practical life, it is not. That's why any of you know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he made Qiyamul Layl with one Quran, with one rak'ah? You will not find. Did you find when the guy came and those 4 people came to the house of the Prophet ﷺ and they talked to their wives? By the way, this hadith, every time we say it, everybody has so many questions. How could those strangers come and talk to the wife of the Prophet? Al-Imam al-Tahawi rahimahullah, in the book of Mushkil al-Athar, Al-Imam al-Tahawi rahimahullah, you need to know your ummah. Al-Imam al-Tahawi came to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the one they may have question or raise a question, he sat down and he got all the hadith and he gave explanation and he searched for him. He came up after 40 years of work. He came up with a book. It's called Mushkil, or they call it Mushkil or Mushkil al-Athar للإمام الطحاوي. 28 volume book, one book. All what he's talking about is every hadith, how you could have misunderstanding from it. So anyway, where was I? You forgot.
Talking to the Prophet's wife.
So those people talking to the Prophet's wife, this is before Ghazwat al-Ahzab, before the 6th or the 5th year of Al-Hijrah, before. Because they would be able to talk. The wife of the Prophet ﷺ used to talk to anybody. It was, able to talk. Because Ayat al-Hijab, it was revealed right in the middle of Ghazwat al-Ahzab or Ghazwat al-Khandaq. Anyway, that's another story. So they came and they asked, how the Prophet ﷺ, does he sleep all night? What does he eat? How often he goes between his wife? What does he do? This and that. So the wife of the Prophet talked to him about the Salah, talked to him about the Siyam, talked to them about a group of people. And then the hadith said, فَاسْتَقَالُوهَا. They thought, it's true. The Prophet is not doing what he should do. They think that the Prophet was doing a lot little than what he was supposed to do. And they said that we could do better. فَاسْتَقَالُوهَا. They did little. They can do better. So one of them, they said, Wallahi, I'm going to stay up all night. I'm never going to sleep during the night. I'm going to stay up all night, reciting Quran, and reading and making Salah. The second one said, well, having wives, it's a pleasure. And I don't want to have no pleasure. I want to be devoted to Allah. So I am not going to get married, period. The third one said, well, the Prophet ﷺ eats meat. Eating meat is a pleasure. I don't want to eat meat anymore. So he said that, Wallahi, I will never taste meat. He's going to stay vegetarian all his life. The fourth one said, the Prophet ﷺ break, fast Mondays, Thursdays, fast 3 days a week. I'm going to do better. I'm going to fast all the time. You see? So then the Prophet ﷺ, his wife talked to him, said, Ya Rasulullah, there are a group of people, they came and they said this and that. Immediately the Prophet ﷺ took the podium, the member, and he said, Hamidallah wa athna alayh. Then he said, Ma balu aqwam. Look at the politeness, look at the kindness. Wow, you, Abdul Ghani, you did this. You, brother, did or that. He said, Ma balu aqwam. Some of those people, what's wrong with them? One of them, they said that, I don't break my fast, and I don't get married, and I don't eat meat, and I don't sleep. How could those people say this? Now here are the facts. Wallahi, inni la'atqakum lillah wa ashaddukum khashya. This is the wording. This is Sahih Muslim. I atqakum lillah. I'm the most, I have taqwa the most of you. And ashaddukum khashya, because we said khashya is connected with knowledge. Who has the most knowledge? The Prophet. He's seen what we have not seen. He knows what we don't know. He went all the way up there. I go on a trip to the Ozark for 3 days. I come back and speak about it for 3 months. So what do you think about somebody who went all the way up? How much he can talk about? Too much. He has so much knowledge. That's because of the knowledge he had, he developed khashya. I remember the first question we asked in this session, khashya comes from knowledge. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Fatir, ayah number 28, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. You see? Okay. So anyway, so he said, إِنِّي أَتْقَاكُمْ لِلَّهِ وَأَشَدُّكُمْ لِلَّهِ خَشْيَةً. I fear Allah the most. I'm most knowledgeable of Allah on all of you. And I am the one. I eat, I break fast, and I fast, and I sleep, and I wake up for Qiyamul Layl, and I eat the meat, and I get married to woman. This is the Sunnah. Now here we have to have very good explanation. The Sunnah here, it's different than any other Sunnah. هذه سنتي فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. This is my Sunnah. The one who abide from this Sunnah, he doesn't belong to the Prophet ﷺ. What Sunnah is this? What kind of Sunnah is this? Sunnah tashri'iyya. This is not Sunnah ta'abudiyya. The Sunnah ta'abudiyya. You come to the masjid, you make 2 rak'ah. You finish Maghrib, you make 2 rak'ah. You fast Mondays and Thursdays. Those are Sunnah ta'abudiyya. If you do them, you will have extra credit, extra reward. If you do not do them, you're not going to be punished. You're not sinful. Sunnah ta'abudiyya. Sunnah tashri'iyya, it's different. You must do. You must obey. If you do not do it, you are in violation. And this violation could be small or could be big. If it is big, you will be out of Islam. Wal-'iyadu billah. That's Sunnah tashri'iyya. That's what we need to understand, Sunnah tashri'iyya. So this is Sunnah tashri'iyya. That's why it is haram to fast every day. It is haram to make an oath that you don't want to get married. You may live your life not getting married, not because you're ugly, you're poor, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. That's a different story. You're not incapable, you're sick. It is fine. But you have all the means and you have all the faculty and you do not get married and you're making that part of your deen. No. Your deen is not that. So anyway, so this is sunnah tashri'iyya. So Islam, back to the point, Islam is practical. So don't make Islam unpractical and don't invite to it. Because people are not able to do that. But if somebody was able to stay up all night reciting Quran, making Salah, and that's what you want, next day you don't have to go to work, next day you may be able to sleep, it is fine. But I know some people stay up all night and they make dhuhr with asr, they don't come to the masjid, and maybe that's not right. It is not right. If you want to stay up all night, you have to still do the right thing in the right time. If you can attain dhuhr prayer in the masjid, you should do that. Attain asr prayer in the masjid, you could do that. And beside, another thing my scholar used to say, said, do not force your opinion on others. This is very important. Now, you made it yourself that you want to recite 10 juz of the Quran every day. This is your homework. You have the time, you have the means, you have the ability. But don't come as a student, I am your student, or I listen to you say, you should recite 10 juz of the Quran every day. Don't force your opinion on others. You fast Mondays, Thursdays, 3 days of the month. Ask people, invite them to do them. Don't force them. Don't force anybody. Teach them the proper Islam. Some people, they make it. I heard one time, I was in Saudi Arabia, he saw some foreigners, they don't have beard. They shave their beard. And then he stood up and he said, in the khutbah al-Jum'ah, he said, all of you who does not have beard, the Prophet ﷺ said, this is my sunnah, and who is not following my sunnah, he's out of me. He doesn't belong me. That means he's mushrik. He's out. What did this guy do? He mixed up the understand between sunnah ta'abbudiyya and sunnah tashri'iyya. You see? So don't mix up. Sunnah tashri'iyya, the person who violates that, like I said, if the violation is so big, he might be out of Islam. Violation is little, he might be making it haram. You see, don't mix that. Don't say whoever does not pray 2 rak'ah after Sunnah al-Maghrib, he's going to be out of Islam. That's Sunnah ta'abbudiyya, and so on. So Islam, akhi, is practical. So we invite people to the Islam that is practical. Islam that the Prophet ﷺ have taught us. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ was in one of the ghazwa. I'm coming to you. Was in one of the ghazwa, and some people came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, we're fasting. It was in Ramadan. And some people said that this hadith in Ghazwat Badr. Ghazwat Badr was the 17th day of Ramadan. Ghazwat Badr was the 17th day of Ramadan. So when they left the Medina about on the 15th, or one of the reports said on the 14th of Ramadan. So they were fasting. So some people came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, some people are having difficulties because they are fasting and they are traveling. So the Prophet ﷺ got some water and he took an area that is a little bit loud. And one of the report said, فَاعْتَلَى صَخْرًا. He went up and he got that water and he drank. Abu Bakr, Umar, and all the Sahaba who they were with him, they broke their fast. And then they continue traveling. Later on, they told the Prophet ﷺ there are some people, they did not break their fast. So what did the Prophet ﷺ say did? He said, Jazakumullah khair, those are powerful, those are good, those are that. No. He said, هَلَكَ الْمُتَنَطِّعُونَ. How many times? 3 times. هَلَكَ الْمُتَنَطِّعُونَ. هَلَكَ الْمُتَنَطِّعُونَ. Who's al-mutanatti'? Who's trying to do more or excessive things. Those are halaka. They're no good. Halaka. They brought They brought to themselves something no good. Halakha. They've been demolished. They did something wrong. They're doing the excessiveness. Halakha al-mutanatti'un. It's a warning from the Prophet ﷺ. You break your fast. Maybe you are capable to stay. You're strong. But you need to stay with the others. You need to stay as an ummah. You need to stay with the others. Islam is practical. And that's what it is. Back again, because we may be running out of time. We'll suffer for a minute. So al-khushu' is, how can I attain khushu'? Read different surahs in your salah. Try to be on focus. Try to have a good wudu. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for khushu'. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for khushu'. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring khushu' to your heart. Think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about the reward of Allah. Think about the hellfire. Think about all the goodness that you might get when you are in your salah. Think about the wudu. The wudu is a ibadah by itself. Some people, they think that the wudu is a condition of ibadah. No. It is a condition of ibadah. La salata bila tahur. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Sahih Muslim, there is no salah without wudu. True. But the wudu itself is ibadah. To be on wudu is ibadah. Huh? Because when you are making wudu, whether for salah or not salah, when you're making wudu, your dhunub is going to come out with every part of your body. That's the hadith of Sahih Muslim. When you make wudu and you wash your hand, the Prophet ﷺ said, all your sinful act that you accomplish by your hand, it will be falling down. And then in your mouth, it will be falling down. In your nose and face, and then in your hand and your feet and all of it. So your dhunub is going to come down. It's like washing your dhunub literally. If you have dirt or mud on your hand, when you're making wudu, it comes out. And think of it as it is your. And then also, you said after you finish the wudu, in the beginning of the wudu, you said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah. Some scholars said Bismillah, or some other scholars said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, Yusammillah. So you said Bismillah. You finish your salah, you said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma ij'alni min at-tawwabin wa ij'alni min al-mutatahhirin. This is in the Tirmidhi. In other sunan, there's no this ziyada. Okay? So if you said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahu al-mulku wa lahu al-hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir wa ashhadu anna sayyidana wa nabiyyana Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, you will be open, it will be open for you all the doors of Al-Jannah. How many doors of Al-Jannah? 8 of them. They will be all opened up for you, and they will say, it will be said to you, you can enter it from any one of those doors you want. Okay? This is just a wudu. And then another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, when you finish your wudu, you say, Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Okay? So then your deed will be sealed up in a rock. It will be sealed up. That good deed will be, put in an envelope, and it will have a stamp. It will be opened up for you on the judgment day as a witness for you of your good deed. So think about this. Think about the palace you coming to the masjid and leaving the masjid. Think about when you say Salamu Alaikum to all of your brothers. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith reported by Tabari wa Ahl Sunan, ما تصافح المسلمان إلا تحاتت ذنوبهما كما يتحات ورق الشجر. When you put your hand with your hand of brother, Salamu Alaikum Akhi. Don't go, Salamu Alaikum Akhi, Salamu Alaikum Akhi. Grab his hand, Salamu Alaikum Akhi. And then your sinful act will fall off as if those yellow leaves of the tree, they will fall off. Think about that. Make dua of all the Muslims. The hadith of the Tabarani, the Sheikh Nasruddin Albani rahimahullah made it authentic, and other scholars did not. When the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man istaghfara lil mu'minina wal mu'minat, kana lahu bi kulli mu'minin wa mu'minatin hasana." Whoever asks for istighfar for all the believers, Allahumma ighfir li wa li walidayya wa lil muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka ya rabbana sami'un qaribun mujibun lid da'awat. How many hasana I got? billions of hasanat for all the Muslims who they died from day one till today. As numbers of them, I have hasana as number of those people. Making istighfar. Rabbi ighfirli wa liwalidayya wal muslimin wal muslimat. Think about this. You come to the masjid. Think about listening to the adhan and repeating after the adhan. The Prophet ﷺ, he was in the masjid when the adhan made, and the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever said like this guy, meaning repeating after the adhan, his sinful act will be abolished. Just think about all of this. You know, you have no idea. Just coming to the masjid and having all those ideas will bring khushu' to your heart, will bring love to your heart, will believe, submissiveness into your heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then also the first line, trying to get to the first line. لو تعلمون ما في الصف الأول لاستهمتم عليه. If you know the benefit of the first line, then you would have made the board of directors having group, then they make qur'ah, they make like a lottery. You put your names and they put them in a bag, pull up the names that they come up, they go into the first line. Because otherwise they're going to fight on it. Who's going to be on the first line? First line is very important. Okay? So think about all of these things. Think about that you're standing in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about that the dua of you and the dua of all the Muslims. You see? So many things will bring you khushu'. Your telephone is bothering you, leave it in the car. This is wallahi essential for all of us to leave our telephone in the car or to put it on silent. But even if they have that vibration, that's going to distract you in the salah. Just leave it alone. Think about Allah. Devote all those 7-10 minutes that we're going to have. Devote them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala full-heartedly to forgive you, to accept you. Bring those. And always think, especially about those people who they make the same dua in the salah. The same dua. Then it becomes habitual things. Try to break the habit. If you want a khushu' in the salah, break the habit. Anything that you do all the time, but people don't know because قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Ya akhi, get out of it, change it, go recite surah, change the surah. Tamam? So think about death. Think about that this might be your last salah. If this is my last salah, how is it going to be? Think about it. It could be your last salah. It could have been. We could walk out of the masjid and something happened, and we go. Some people may die in the salah. A lot of people died when they are in their sujood. They didn't know. We don't know which one is going to be our last salah. But make sure that this salah is good. You may not have. And this is what my Shaykh rahimahullah used to say. He said, if you really think about this might be your last salah, I bet you it's going to be a good salah. I bet you it's going to be a good salah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.